Hi, I'm Michelle Fitzgerald with the Sensor Learning Center, and today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about a really neat trick that I use to uncover and clear belief codes. If you don't know what belief codes are, you can read more about them on my website. There's a little section in the main menu. Just click belief codes and you can read about them. They're basically unconscious thought patterns that we hold that have the power to dictate undesirable life experiences. And so it can be very, very beneficial to learn how to find and clear belief codes. So I have many methods for that, but this one is a fun favorite one called reverse engineering affirmations. And the way it works is you just, most of you know what affirmations are. They're just basically statements of intention and what we want to experience, or statements of fact about what we are experiencing and we want to maintain. And people, write affirmations or say affirmations to help with law of attraction activities, to help attract what they want to experience in life. But I'm using affirmations a little bit differently here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with a list of affirmations. This is just one I built over the years. It's called Affirmations for All Occasions. But you could also use lists of affirmations from other authors, like, for example, Louise Hay has a book, I believe. She's got at least one book out that's got a good collection of affirmations on it. You can find other stuff on the internet, but you start with a list of affirmations, and you're going to use dowsing or muscle testing to see if any of the affirmations would be highly beneficial for you to be saying at this time or holding in your system at this time. Would they be beneficial? And you take your list, and I just used an example. I used myself as an example today, and you simply douse the list to find out today what affirmations would be highly beneficial for you. And I did that. I took my own list and I dowsed the first page. I just used simple muscle testing, muscle testing like this. I call it finger dowsing. Again, you can also read about this and learn how to do this yourself on my website. Just go to the dowsing section. But I take that list and I ask the question, let's start with the first affirmation. Is there an affirmation on this first page that would be highly beneficial for me to say today? And I'll get yes or no. So let's say this is what I did. Is there an affirmation on this chart, on this list, page 1, that would be highly beneficial for me to be saying today? I get no. Well, what about on page 2? And I turn to page 2. Is there an affirmation on page 2 that would be highly beneficial for me to be saying today? And I get a big strong yes, big yes, like that, strong. My fingers don't break apart. I go, okay, well, where is the affirmation? I just doused down the list, and I found the affirmation. It was this. It was, I feel perfectly content. Now, why would I need an affirmation like that? I feel perfectly content. This is where we're going to reverse engineer the affirmation. Logically, the only reason a person would need an affirmation like this, the only reason this would be beneficial to me today, is that either I'm not feeling content, so I'm feeling some level of discontent about something, which in fact I was a little bit earlier today, or unconsciously there's something going on that's saying I can't or don't have permission to feel perfectly content, and if I'm not experiencing that already, I'm soon going to experience that, because whatever thoughts we're holding at a conscious or subconscious level are going to dictate what shows up in our life. So right away I dowsed, I saw this and I dowsed, okay, so am I holding any belief codes right now? Have I surfaced any belief codes? Have I awakened any codes that are the reverse of this? Because when negative experiences occur in our lives, it's because we're either holding conscious or unconscious thought patterns. The unconscious thought patterns would be belief codes that are dictating the experience of discontent. And in fact, I had an experience of slight discontent earlier today. So that must mean I had belief codes up that said, I couldn't be perfectly content. So bottom line, I take the belief code and I say, okay, do I have any belief codes that have surfaced that say the exact opposite of this? And the answer is yes, very strong. Okay, how many belief codes do I have that say the exact opposite of that I've recently nudged, that are now capable of producing experiences of discontent in my life, or that I might react to with the emotion of discontent? How many belief codes have surfaced recently that could cause this? And I just am going to do counting with muscle testing. I'm just going to go more than one, no more. Let me back up. Is it 1 and I stay strong? 2, I stay strong, so it's not that. I want to break on the answer. I'm giving my system the instructions that when I get to the right number, I want you to just give me a response like that. You can program your body to do anything you want. Again, you can learn more about this on my website. But I'm just going to count. Is it 1 belief code? Is it 2 belief codes? Is it 3 belief codes? Is it 4? It breaks on 4, so that means it's 3 belief codes. Correct? Correct. I've got 3 belief codes that say I can't, for whatever reason, feel perfectly content, and the answer is a very strong yes. And those are playing right now at a subconscious level. Yes, okay, is what I got earlier. And I said, okay, so let's clear these codes. Code number 1, where did it come from? Was it from this lifetime? Codes can come from this lifetime. You can inherit them. You can create them in past lifetimes. You can get them through blood transfusions. You can get them through immunizations. There's all kinds of different ways that you can get these problematic thought patterns loaded into, I think of this as computers, loaded into your little computer. And then they will be available to your computer to access at any point during the length of your life. And again, they can create experiences that are very undesirable, like discontentment. So bottom line is I douse, okay, first code, where did I get it from? When did I get it? Is it something I created myself? I'm just guessing. I'm just asking questions. Yes, it's something I've created myself. I get a really strong response. Okay, well, how old was I when I created it? Was I 1? No. Was I age 2? No. Was I age 3? Yes, I was age 3. Okay. So does the event, or was I experiencing some kind of event, observing something, seeing something that caused me to create a rule that you can't be content unless blah, 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 something like that? I'm just guessing. Yes. Okay, so I saw something when I was 3 years old that says you can't be completely, perfectly content unless blah, blah, blah. Yes. I'm just following a logical trail. Okay, so what could I have possibly seen when I was 3 years old that would cause me to conclude that you can't be perfectly content unless some condition is in place? Does it have to, and I just start guessing, does it have anything to do with, my mother, or people? Yes, people, okay. My mom? No. My dad? No. Some other relative? Yes. My grandmother? No. My grandfather? And I get a big yes. Well, what's going on with my grandfather that has anything to do with perfect contentment? And I instantly, this is called intuitive flashing, and this will happen to you too if you practice with this stuff long enough. It will happen to you too. I had an intuitive flash, just boom. I saw a hospital, and I said, does this have something to do with a hospital? Yes. My grandfather and a hospital have somehow led me to believe that I cannot be perfectly content unless certain conditions exist. Correct. I get a big strong yes, correct. Okay, and I had another intuitive flash. I couldn't remember exactly, but I thought that was about when my grandfather died. And I said, am I observing or am I hearing about my grandfather's death? And I got a big fat yes. So me crafting a belief code that says I can't be perfectly content in certain situations or unless certain circumstances develop, I crafted that because of exposure to something going on with my grandfather's death. And I get yes. And again, I had another intuitive flash. And again, this seems like, wow, how could that happen? Could I ever do that type of thing? Absolutely. You'll be amazed at how smart again, I think of it as computers, how smart your darn computer is. And as soon as you get on the right trail, which you just saw me do with the setup, it's almost like a GPS tracking system. I literally used the affirmation and the content of it to reverse engineer into what the problematic belief code must be. Basically, it must say, I can't feel perfectly content for some reason. And now I have 2 points on a GPS tracking system, or one big point of direction on a GPS tracking, our psychic GPS tracking system. I know that I've got a belief code that in very general terms, I could describe or decrypt as, I can't feel perfectly content unless. And is that correct? And I'll ask my operating system, is that correct? Yes. Unless what? It has something to do with my grandfather. It has something to do with a hospital. It has something to do with him dying. What could it be? and again, you set yourself up like this and you'll start having these intuitive flashes. And I instantly saw the belief code. You can't be perfectly content unless you're dead, right? Many of us would have this code. If you grew up in any kind of environment where the belief system, the whatever religion you were associated with, if it was Christianity, I grew up in a Catholic household. When do you get to experience perfect bliss and contentment if you're a Catholic? When does that actually happen? It happens after you die and you get to heaven. It actually doesn't happen while you're on the planet. And there are many belief systems, religious belief systems, that have this same kind of thinking. Now, this is insane. This is ridiculous. But that was the intuitive flash. Wait a second. Do I have a belief code that says I can't feel perfectly content unless I'm like my grandfather? He was dead, and I must have heard as a young child, no, now he's at peace. Now he's perfectly happy. He's in heaven. But that can be very problematic. The only way to get perfect contentment is to be dead. You're going to make sure that you do not create, if the body's going to try to take care of itself, you're going to do everything to not create perfect contentment so you can avoid death. So that was the belief code, just like that. So, and I just told my computer, you understand that you can experience perfect contentment without having to die. Do you get that? And I got a big fat yes. So now I have a couple of other codes because I dowsed that there were 3 codes altogether, and I'll have to go find the other codes. But it starts that way. You take the affirmation, you back engineer it. The back engineering is it's got to be the belief code that is prompting you to need this affirmation at this particular time has to be generally, in general terms, the exact opposite of the affirmation. So there's your belief code. That's stage 1. Where in the heck did it come from? Did you inherit it? Did you create it? Is it something you created in this lifetime, a past lifetime, and you get a bearing? And then you start getting other little pieces of the puzzle, and you open your mind to this intuitive flashing. There are other ways to get to clear the code besides intuitive flashing. But intuitive flashing is very, very easy, and most people can do it if they just set the stage with a few of those. Like I said, it's like a GPS tracking system. You set a couple of points in the system, like when did you craft the belief code? What are some of the basic elements that were in the scenario when the belief code was crafted? Grandfather, hospital, death. You find some clues, and all those are points on this system, and boom, your computer is so smart that you are so smart that if you can get yourself, your conscious self, out of the way and access that subconscious, you'll just see the codes in intuitive flashing, just like I did. So that's called using affirmations, or reverse engineering an affirmation to find and hopefully clear a belief code. So hope you enjoyed that. It's a fun experience. And at the very least, even if you can't figure out how to clear the codes, you'll be able to pretty easily figure out, just by detecting what affirmations do you need, you'll be able to figure out in general terms the kind of bogus thought patterns you're holding in there. Like, I can't feel perfectly content. What kind of bogus thinking is that? Of course you should be able to feel perfectly content. You know, why wouldn't a person be able to feel perfectly content? The only possibility is you've got some bogus programming in there at an unconscious level, and you got to just get it out of there. But at least you know what's getting in your way. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Look forward to talking to you next time.